Hello everybody and welcome back to the Legends of Runeterra World Championship. We are well on our way through day number 1, but now we're in the home stretch. We've got 2 more matches to cover, and to cover the next one, we've got Skarzig and Mogwai coming back to the desk. Skarzig, long time no see, and Mogwai, how are you doing with all the matches that we have had so far today?
I'm just super grateful that I get to cover these next 2 games because there's a lot on the line and they're going to matter quite a bit. I'm also a big fan of some of the players here, so really excited to see Bajatak, which we're going to be talking about very shortly, and yeah, just pumped, man.
Well, let's just jump right into the head-to-head, shall we? We've got our final match of Group A that is about to take place. We've got Artefy versus Bajatak, and this is a really interesting position to be in because Artefy sitting at a 0-2 record right now likely can't qualify based on the head-to-head, but Artefy winning or losing does affect who moves forward because Bajatak is sitting at a 1-1 record and Realkey is very, very close to them as well. So if Artefy wins, Realkey will advance, but if Bajatak wins, he advances based on the head-to-head. So tiebreakers here are going to be really, really interesting, Skarzig.
Yeah, very close. We just saw, like, how did I able to take a match off of Icado? And so even the players that can't advance, they're still here in Worlds. They're still threats. And when you play against a new player with a different lineup, you know, there is a chance for those matchups to kind of shake out a little bit better in your favor. So I know that nobody really wants to be in Bajatak's shoes right now, where it's all on the line for him.
Pressure's real.
Oh, absolutely. And Mogwai, you'd already brought up that you were excited about Bajatak being a part of this match, so why don't you talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, like I said, Bajatak is a player that I'm personally very fond of. Like I really like his journey in the competitive Legends of Runeterra. Like he started off in the Europe Masters, kind of like a bit of, he had the role of a sidekick really. Like Pakravac was the leader of Team Czechia, which Bajatak was a part of, and nobody knew much about him. He was this young up and coming competitor, and that was essentially it. But from that point onwards, he just so consistently well throughout all the seasonals and all sorts of different tournaments. He's always up there. He's always in the top 4, top 2, winning. And I felt like he was definitely one of the favorites in this Worlds event. And I'm just really, really excited. But I also feel really nervous for him because it's all or nothing. If he loses, he's out. If he wins, he's in. And you know, he already had a crazy nail biter of a series against Realkey at the beginning. So yeah, his heart must be a little bit beat up today. But I'm really pumped. As viewers, we're gonna enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the deck lists look like for both of these players. We've already seen them a little bit today, but Skarzig, why don't you take over and introduce the deck list once again?
Yeah, so let's jump right in, Mogwai. We know that Bajatak has brought a very well-rounded, very meta-style standard lineup, and Artefy has brought something that's a little bit more anti-meta, right? We've got the classic Scion, right? Opting for Scion instead of the Ezreal or the Caitlyn, something a bit more punchy, a bit more direct. We've seen the power of Lulu Poppy all day, but the key deck for Artefy's lineup is definitely this Ping City list. He's somehow been cursed all day, has had atrocious luck with the draws. I don't think I've seen him cast a single pokey stick. So the lack of card draw and resources has just starved Artefy out of the lethals, right? Being 2 or 3 HP off here and there when you're playing a deck with so much burn feels awful. We know that Artefy is really down in the dumps right now, but again, for the World Championships, these players all have extreme mental fortitude, and we know that in this game, he's still looking to bring his all.
I mean, we saw that from How to Die in the prior series. He was 0-2, but he got his win, and he got his win against the top seed. So, hey, that is a moral victory if I've ever seen one, right? And regarding Pig City, I think it's just one of those decks. There's several things to take into account, right? It's perhaps the newest, the most untested deck out of all of these lineups that we are seeing. It rose up in the ranks very recently, and I feel like there is a debate as to whether there was enough time or not for that deck to actually be properly tested. But we did see Cosimo just absolutely dominate with it, so don't count it out. But it is definitely, it's easy to consider it the weak point from Artefy's lineup. And here, when it comes to Bajatak, we see he has the same exact lineup that he brought to the qualifiers. And we've spoken a lot about how comfortable he feels with his Akshan Sivir. And honestly, I completely get it. His piloting is just unparalleled with its deck. It's amazing to witness because it is, especially after the nerfs, this deck became fair to a degree that it actually requires a lot of very key decision making for it to succeed, and sometimes it barely edges out the wins. But if somebody's gonna do it, it's Bajatak. And then he's got his take on PNZ, which we've seen Scion Draven do better than Draven Caitlyn. Hasn't really been the day for Draven Caitlyn, so that has actually been Bajatak's weakest deck in a lot of showings. So we're gonna see how it fares this time. But like we mentioned, both lineups relatively standard, really strong. And it's going to come down to the bans. I definitely am expecting a Scion Draven ban for Bajatak onto Artefy, though.
Yeah, we could see that come through. We're going to take a closer look as well at Artefy's list. This TF Gangplank, lovingly called Ping City, as you already talked about, Mogwai, one of the newest decks on the competitive scene right now, to the point where this deck has evolved even further over the course of the last couple days. Before Stone Stacker was included, that used to be Conchologist, and now players are starting to cut the Twisted Fate to put in Misfortune. This is the newest evolution of Pirate Aggro. And we'll see if Artefy can finally unlock his true inner aggro player and dive into the explosive damage that I know from personal experience that this deck is capable of.
I mean, I definitely agree Misfortune is a very solid consideration, but I do like, especially in a tournament setting like this, I am a big advocate of Twisted Fate. He's just too flexible, too reliable, especially if you run into, for example, Scion, having that gold card available in a region combination that would otherwise struggle extremely with it unless you're playing Minimorph, is very, very clutch. And I'm a big, big fan of Twisted Fate. Honestly, I really like this list. I think it's also, it just plays out better than Pirate Aggro as well. It's more intricate, and it's really fun to watch. I just the Stone Stackers alone, just coming in, just going that already got me in. So I'm a big fan of the list, and let's see if this time it performs well.
Yeah, the list is, well, it's not just about, I want to draw a bunch of 1-drops, I want to curve out, and you want to go face. You're setting up a lot of plays ahead of time, right? Where it's like, I want to attack this, set up a barrel, go for Pokey Stick, I need to jump here in order to set up a double up.
Yeah. Like you said with the double up setup, stacking pings. It's very important to know. Sometimes you're directing one damage to things that doesn't seem like you're doing much, but you have to think ahead and be like, okay, so I'm gonna have to deal with this eventually through this and this and that, and that's something that you see a lot more with Pink City, as we call it, than from Pirate Aggro, as we do see the bans here, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed Scion Draven gone for Artefy, and the so powerful Zoe Nami. I was gonna say Noe Zami.
Is banned there.
Yeah, I do that a lot. You get
we've been doing it. We've been doing it all day as well in the caster waiting area. We've been talking about the games. We've still been keeping up with these competitors. And what's so great about Bajatak's lineup is that when you're playing 3 strong decks like this, you almost don't care what your opponent bans, because you still have so much power under your belt. Artefy now going to go into this first game with hopes of getting some burn, right? These remaining decks don't have healing, so you need this damage to stick. We know that the Pokey Stick, the Make It Rain, fantastic against the Sivir decks as well, to pop that spell shield, keep things from really spiraling out of control, and Twisted Fate as well.
I just want to ask chat to get some S's going on for this Sentinel board. I love this music. I don't know about you, but it's
Sentinel. It's so epic but relaxing at the same time. 3 mana Thermo to answer the Stone Stacker. The respect is there.
And building up the Improbulator as well. Very important, having that Improbulator in hand. There's no Lost Soul. But building up that Tribean Improbulator is actually amazing in this matchup because there's just no interaction from Bandle City Pirates whatsoever. It's a very effective way to deal with Gangplank and develop a win condition at the same time if built up properly. And there's an Arachnoid Sentry alongside a Ravenous Flock here, which will allow Bajatak to have a very solid defensive turn with this House Spider that can block into an open attack from the Crackshot Corsair. So honestly, this beginning is looking really solid for Bajatak right here. I wonder if we'll see a red card Twist of Fate.
Yeah, with the Dreadway deckhand, red card Twisted Fate, wipes, gets more damage on the Nexus, clears the path for a big attack here. What I love, Mogwai, is that Artefy is playing like the new coat of paint, fresh evolution of Pirates, and Bajatak may be playing the newer evolution of the classic Ezreal Draven that we've seen in the past.
Yes,
and when
good
we
point.
compare that matchup from back in the day, you know, it can go either way.
Yes,
a couple of the casters already commented that Ping City is basically better than Pirates.
It's better, but it depends on the matchup as well. I do believe it is arguably worse than Pirate aggro in this specific matchup, just because the big weakness that Ezreal Draven's decks have had in the past, even though their curve is superior to the Pirate aggro, which is why they tend to be able to outvalue them easily if they stabilize, the question is, can they stabilize, right? Because there's no healing. Neither of these decks have any healing whatsoever, and down goes the Tri-Beam Improbulator already at, I was gonna say already
Casting?
at 5?
No, just casting it to damage the Gangplank.
To get the Ravenous Flock.
Yeah, so we got Fledgling Stellacorn, a little bit of healing pulled out of the ether here for Bajatak. That 1 HP could matter. Every game today has been so close. This 1 HP could literally matter. I'm shaking in my boots, Mogwai.
I mean, me too, especially looking at this Stellacorn and just thinking like, okay, Sparklefly is laughing in a corner. Looking at this 3-drop that doesn't have elusive as spell shield, the same stat line, but costs 1 more mana. Not a great pull for Bajatak, but not a terrible one. The spell shield is definitely relevant. There's just not good blocks for it right now in this board, and we're very likely to see a Arachnoid Sentry here, unless he tries to fish for something with the Rummage. But Arachnoid Sentry is very likely, as there's also the Ravenous Flock to pick off the Gangplank, but he can stop that Lecturing Yordle on its tracks. But this turn is looking really good for Artefy.
Yeah, even though the board is wide, there's still a lot of answers in Bajatak's hand. And at 18 HP going into the later stages of the game, you're feeling very good. You've got Rummage now to reload, get even more threats, whereas Artefy is starting to run out of fuel. We have 1 Pokey Stick in hand. Maybe the Tenor of Terror can squeeze through some more damage on top of this.
But he's got so much momentum going on the board. And the problem with this Ravenous Flock play that I mentioned, this is very interesting. The problem with the Ravenous Flock play that I mentioned with the Arachnoid Sentry is that it opens up for the, what was the name of the 1-mana ping right there?
Group Shot? Oh,
yeah,
you mean the Poison Dart?
Yeah, the Poison Dart. Like, the Poison Dart with the Powder Keg can actually kill an Arachnoid Sentry. So that's why Bajatak is holding back on the Spider here. Because he's fully aware that if he plays that, he gets to stun something, but then his opponent gets to remove his 3-drop, and that just does not feel good, especially with no Improbulator in hand to work towards either. Like, this was looking really solid for Bajatak, but all of a sudden, like, his momentum is gone, his hand quality isn't really quite there, and this is looking really solid for the Yordle Pirates.
Yeah, we've got a block here, we've got a couple chumps, we can offset some of this damage, but having to take that chance with the Get Excited on the Gangplank rather than the Ravenous Flock means that Bajatak is saving, right, this Arachnoid Sentry and Flock for a different target. And now, because you have to do both those cards in 1 turn, just completely throwing the tempo away, I think you do want to chump with Draven here, sacrifice him, get that second axe, and maybe rummage it away.
Okay, so this dart, what this dart does is it opens up the room for the Arachnoid Sentry. Now the Arachnoid Sentry goes down and it stuns the Yordle. Now you play the Arachnoid Sentry. No? Whoa.
Yeah, still is fully committed, it looks like, to the Arachnoid Sentry plus Flock combo.
Yeah, so now what he's doing is he's just using the Stellacorn to ping the Yordle so he can finish it off the Ravenous Flock, not develop anything on the board this turn, so he doesn't have a good target with the Poison Dart, and clear up his board a little bit. So I actually, like, this line of play is actually better. The other one felt like pretty obvious, but this is why these are world caliber players right here. By not developing the board, he takes away value from this poison dart, he clears the Electrine Yordle, and this is looking much better. Like, that board went from really scary to manageable. There's still work to do here, but it's manageable.
Yeah, you still got the axe now to draw Draven and Caitlyn. Oh, but Bajatak right back in the driver's seat with the attack token coming up here. And now Bajatak, by manipulating combat the way he did and saving the Arachnoid Sentry, you have this as a fail-safe against the next Gangplank.
He got that mushroom though. That mushroom does contribute towards Gangplank's level up. Very relevant. And it's nice to see Caitlyn. Don't let me pass, I'll kill you. But it's a bit late for Caitlyn though. It is a bit late for the traps.
Yeah, because now the 1 and 2 damage isn't really lining up very well. Artefy taking the hits here recognizes I need this wide board because I'm plus on attackers here.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is Swarm, and this is why, yeah, this is a legit good play. Playing the Varian Portals, you need chump blockers.
And so now another.
Oh, he does. There's a mushroom, but there is already a flash bomb trap. That was actually pretty unexpected. A double up top deck though. That is scary.
So let's see
that
here.
Is scary.
We've got another mushroom. Oh no! So we've got 2 damage coming from the Crackshot Corsair, 2 more damage coming from the impact from the Singing Brothers.
He gets to Ravenous Flock. This is a big hit though. And I'm telling you, the double up is really scary. But the thing is, he's gonna be able to counter it with hand because he cannot double unless he double ups right now. But then he loses the impact from the 3/2. So he's gonna wait, keep that double up in hand, and try to finish off either Draven or Caitlyn. But this Aloof Traveler is gonna go down and gonna discard. It's gonna be super clutch for Bajatak here. This game is really intense.
Giving up 1 damage in exchange for 4 to play around exactly Aloof Travelers. Is Artefy big brain enough?
No, because he's got the keg. He's got the keg, of course. He has to get this. Is this over?
He's calling out a lot of removal and response there.
Yeah, he's just not respecting it. I mean, this is huge. Like, he's down. He's extremely low.
The last couple sets, we've seen these players taking these huge risks.
He's dead. He's dead. This Pokestick kills him.
The Pokestick. Oh, never mind. The final mushroom.
Or the mushroom. Wow.
How many mushrooms? There was only 6 in the deck, right? How many poison darts did we see?
Sometimes you gotta believe in the heart of the shrooms, and that was a very tough loss to swallow for Bajatak because now he has to.
So tilting now, going into potentially game point, set point for Artefy.
Yeah. Like, this is brutal because he has to beat Poppy back to back. If we've seen a champion dominate today alongside Nami, it's been Poppy. She's been popping. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I respect that. Poppy, you can't stop the Poppy. And if you give her 2 chances, like it's like old discard aggro where that's the kind of deck you don't want to give 2 chances to because it can set up and destroy you. And Bajatak gonna actually, I think this is the first time we've seen a player lose switch to the other. Wants to reset the mental here.
I'm telling you, like, it just has not been the day for Draven Caitlyn. Draven Caitlyn has underperformed significantly today. And on the other hand, Scion Draven has either been, wrecking or getting banned. So, yeah, things have changed up quite a bit. Because in the Worlds Qualifier, it was the other way around. Like, Draven Caitlyn was a really, really strong deck. But at the same time, he got banned a lot. So maybe that was a good reason for it. But this is a good start for Bajatak because there's way too many 3-drops here for Artefy. Even though those Mayors will put in the work. And there's no removal here for Bajatak right here. So these Mayors could actually present a lot of problems very swiftly.
With Sharpsight taking out the Bandle Commando, we know that Bajatak is looking to try to starve Artefy from resources, but the rest of the cards in hand just completely nullify that strategy. And when your opponent's attacking with a super wide board with quick attack and it's getting buffed, your big quick attack turn has to somehow be bigger than Bandle Cities and try to force them to block in response. But because Artefy's list has rallies, as long as Bajatak isn't presenting lethal, Artefy will take that damage damage and then just hit back even harder. Fortunately, the first mare goes down, but it's just all up to Bajatak trying to get a dominant position from here.
I really, really like that line of play. Just going for the Fluid Tracker and using the Sandstone Charger to enable the Challenger and get rid of that Mayor. Just get him out of there. Get him evicted, because he is a problem. And
Recall
right here,
the Vandal City Mayor. But Bajatak is in a position where you're taking a deck that wants to play a more mid-range value game, right, where you're slowly building that board advantage and taking over with your palaces and your treasures late in the game, and you're trying somehow to rearrange the DNA of this deck, of this archetype, to be aggressive, and we'll see if it works out here.
He's running out of gas. He needs, like, he's actually going to need Sivir's spell. He can actually put in a lot of work here, but Artefy's hand is looking terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
I'm seeing a line here, Mogwai. If Artefy was not to block the Sivir, is there a double sharp sight, just punch through, ricochet, lethal?
That is a interesting point here. I mean, you could go for it. You have to. It's 5 different. Sorry, it's 5 different pings. So you would have to, like, you would be putting him down to 2. So you have to roll quite a bit. I mean, I feel more safe about this with the Absolver. The thing is, like, I don't think there's a reason for him not to block with the Telescope onto the Sivir here. He's so low, he doesn't really need to risk it. But from this point onwards, Artefy is just like stabilized so hard. I am feeling the nerves and the pressure from Bajatak just by looking at his webcam. You can definitely feel the aura. You know, he is really
flying
intense.
High coming into this group stage. After such strong showings in a couple tournaments leading up to this point, so much prep, so much practice, and then for it to still be down to the wire like this. And now with Tenor of Terror, this is another wide board that you don't want to have buffed by Poppy, and that impact damage is evening this out. Lulu being discounted by the Vandal City Mayor as well.
Yeah, and Bajatak really waiting for that big unit to go down so he can actually just remove it with a Cataclysm. But this is still looking rough. Like, Artefy's hand is so there's just so much value. Not only is there, like, the ability to just spread out but he's also still gonna have a very sizable hand. Like, so many of the cards that he's playing are generating other cards, and down goes another copy of Lulu. This Bright Super Protector is really good at defending here. But how is he gonna find that extra damage? How is he gonna power through? There's so many chump blockers at Artefy's disposal here.
Yeah, Sivir potentially about to level up. This would turn on the Absolver to get some overwhelm. We don't have a Warlord's Palace or anything like that ticking down. If Artefy goes for a really bad attack, thinks that with the amount of value and resources I have in hand, I can just bully through, maybe it opens a line for Bajatak to rally with this Golden Aegis and then get back. However, Artefy has only 9 HP, so he's feeling the pressure as well, despite the potential resource advantage here.
I really, really like this Golden Aegis. It's really questioning Artefy's attack here, and he's getting close to leveling up that Sivir as well.
And then that would be 3 mana Ricochet, easy to squeeze in. If this board gets wiped because of the rally into another attack.
Skarzik, you know what he needs? You know what he's praying for right now? You see his hands? You know what he's praying for? An Absolver top deck. Absolver top deck onto a leveled up Sivir with double sharp sight. That's all he needs, baby. That's his way of overpowering.
For Bandle to stop it.
This barrier is super clutch, though. This barrier is amazing. Wow, did this, like, the telescope made this? Wait, what? Wait, what am I? No, never mind. He actually plays the Bright Steel Protector, because that barrier is really relevant because it prevents Sivir from strike. Like, it doesn't count for 5
prevents
hit.
5 damage, exactly.
Yeah,
so that's
really
going to be 1 less reputation proc, 5 less damage towards Sivir's level up.
And you really, I think he's going for it just because to clear here, I would like to know how close she is to leveling up, because if she levels up here, Bajatak could have the top deck of a lifetime.
And the last time we saw Bajatak playing this deck, it came down to some incredibly clutch draws in that final moment to real key. 27 out of 30, we're getting the hover here. She will level from this combat as is.
She will. So how many? We got a couple of absolvers in the deck, right? Two copies of it.
Yes.
I believe, yes.
Two copies of Absolvers. There's also another Relentless
Lord.
Pursuit that could come through. Bajatak has so much HP to work with that if combat's looking bad, you can take a really massive hit and then potentially strike back.
Yeah, but I'm the way I'm seeing it right now, it is Absolver or bust.
Yeah, you need the Overwhelm to punch through the number of chump blockers from this position because you don't have action. You don't have that long-term value backing you up from this position.
Nope.
You're just playing straight up, honest Demacia mid-range here.
Yeah, this is and you said he's at full health, but this attack is already just crazy powerful. And he even has the ability to play Moonlight into another unit. Like he could drop that 3/2.
Oh yeah, Moon Silver into the Bomber Twins.
Yeah, like this is he's gonna go for it. Like this is scary. Like I'm telling you.
The mayor
Heart of the
with
cards.
such
If there was ever a moment to top deck the Absolver, it is now.
I mean, there's Preservarium as well that could maybe get you the Absolver if there's no rally from Artefy's side. Oh my god, this is so close. I know Bajatak's stomach is churning here. You have to sacrifice the 3/2, yeah? Or...
Chad, give him your energy. If we all believe, it'll happen.
Spam this snack to help Bajatak. And I'm sure Twitch chat will find a snack to spam.
I like that.
But Yordle Mare getting buffed up to a 4/4. We've got at least 2 damage from the impacts. Bajatak thinking, how much can I sacrifice here and still come out on top? There is still the incredibly ridiculous line of, dealing enough damage for a Hail Mary Ricochet, but Bajatak is going to cash in the Sivir and just play the second one fresh off the top.
No, he can block, he survives. Like, Sivir survives.
Yeah.
So... And I also really like this block. This block is really key because it weakens the essentially the fattest unit, the unit with the highest health stat. Do Re Mi Fa Sol I Kill You here has 3 health and nothing else has. So by removing both of these units, he takes away. He like Bajatak knows he needs the Absolver. This is why he's doing this. He needs the Absolver. He blocks that, weakens it. Lives on 7, and it's now or never, baby. It's now or never. It's now.
Preservarium!
There's no chance.
Slow rolling us.
Oh! He tried. You can't blame him for trying. He tried. Like I feel. I feel happy for Artefy for getting a very nice clean win. And not going 0-3. But I feel the pain for Bajatak because this guy, he deserves so much. He's such a great player, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Somebody has to advance and somebody can't advance. It's really unfortunate, but Artefy has really leveled up over the course of today, right? A lot of heartbreaking losses, and you can see the play, despite how late it is in his time zone, has actually sharpened up here. He's hit like this new point of Zen and is starting to just really clutch out these wins. And we see the power again of Lulu Poppy. Aside from, as you already said, Mogwai, aside from the Nami Zoe, this is the other boogeyman of the metagame.
Yeah, this deck the performance this deck has had is just outstanding. Like you could not ask more out of Poppy. Poppy has just been, if Nami is queen, Poppy is princess, I guess. Yeah. So. Essentially.
I'll definitely take that. She's here to support the board, here to buff things up. Sivir attacking, and Artefy has a very, very strong open swing now alongside the Yordle Smith. We had the chance of a fantastic top deck as well from Bajatak, and he played towards that out. That's so important to point out, Mogwai, and I'm glad you did, that he set up the chumps to take as much HP off of Artefy's defense as possible.
I think there's no world in which you don't open attack here. even though Bajatak would love to see a little bit of room, but this Silk Combat is a good top deck, but it is just not enough. This is like when you have Poppy with a full spread out board state, that is all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna see Bajatak, unfortunately, being eliminated from top 8 contention after an excellent performance in the qualifiers and an excellent, honestly, like some really great games. But these are the best of the best, man. Like every single matchup you're facing, even if it's somebody that's 0-2, this is somebody who qualified for the World Championship.
Yes.
Like nobody's a pushover. And, you know, fantastic performance by Artefy. Bajatak is, you know, feeling a bit down, but, you know, big props to him. He did amazing. And Artefy got his redemption win as well.
Yeah, we've seen so far back-to-back redemptions for these players in groups A and B, but don't feel too bad for Bajatak. He's still one of the best players on the entire planet,
Yep.
and he's still getting a cut of that prize money.
Yeah, I think that Bajatak ended up playing phenomenally today. And Skarzik, as you pointed out, Bajatak was actually the only player, when looking at a game loss, to actually change up the deck that he was playing with. He did that in his match against What Am I? Where he was down 0-1 and then came back with the Akshan Sivir instead and took a game win to tie up the series. And Bajatak did that again in this series too. What do you kind of make of that particular strategy?
A lot of players kind of caution against swapping like that because they say, oh, well, you're warmed up on the deck, just stick with it. And I think in the very precarious position that Bajatak was in and being such a young player, he still maintains that flexibility and confidence even up to this point. That is one thing that, especially after he's been winning some of European tournaments, I've had the pleasure of speaking with him. He just radiates this confidence, right? Not cockiness, like actual just, he knows what he's talking about. He has the results to back it up. And he's saying, I'm going to shift my deck to try to throw off my opponent, right? There is always that potential where your opponent is expecting you to stay on the deck. They're already thinking about the next match. I want this mulligan. And then if you switch decks, suddenly they have to rethink their entire strategy. Oh, no, I'm actually playing this matchup now.
Yeah, I thought it was a super, super great way to approach those matches where Bajatak really did need a win. But unfortunately, in this match, Bajatak is not going to be making the top 8. But with Artefy's win, we've got standings to show everybody because there were some really interesting things that could have happened in Group A, but with Artefy taking the win, there is a 3-way tie, and it will be real key moving forward into the top 8 with What Am I and Aikado. So super exciting to see how everything has been able to shake out. What do you think, Mogwai?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's bittersweet for Bajatak. I think he's a great player, but at the same time, we get to see more Twisted Fate Swain in the tournament, and Brazil is still in it, with Realkey advancing to the top 8. Big fan of Realkey and his plays. I think he's been very sharp throughout the tournament, even though he did have a big slip-up against Bajatak, so never punished. And I'm really just big fan of his lineup. I really like the Plunder, which we haven't seen in any other deck today, or any other lineup rather. And like I mentioned, the Twisted Fate Swain, even though it's been a bit of his Achilles heel, you know, in a way. But I think the time will come, and that deck will also redeem itself. Artefy way.
Yeah, I loved seeing all of the diversity of the decks that we have had and all of the lineups so far. It just, I think, speaks to how healthy the meta is right now, and I feel like all the casters have been talking about it today, so I'm not going to add too much to that. But, Skarzik, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. We'll see you in a little bit.